Henry and Rose Thompson entered the courtroom hand in hand. Henry was 85, Rose 82. They walked slowly. Henry had a cane. Rose held on to Henry's arm, tightly, as if they'd fall if they let go. When Frank Caprio opened the file, he saw the charge. Driving without a license. Rose Thompson, 82 years old. Frank was surprised. 82 years old, why driving without a license? Mrs. Rose, Frank said gently. Did you drive without a license? Rose nodded. Yes, Your Honor. Why? Did you have a license? I did, but it was revoked 2 years ago. I couldn't pass the vision test. Frank looked at Rose's eyes. Thick glasses, signs of cataracts. So why did you drive? And Rose's answer silenced the courtroom. Because I had to take Henry to the doctor, and there was no one else. Frank looked at Henry. The old man was silent, but his eyes were full. His hands were shaking, and Rose still held his arm. Frank leaned forward. Henry, are you ill? Henry tried to speak, but no sound came. Rose spoke for him. Your Honor, Henry has Parkinson's disease for 5 years, getting worse every day. His hands shake, walking is difficult, and his license was revoked 3 years ago because he can't drive safely anymore. So how are you driving? If your license is also gone? Rose hesitated. I couldn't pass the vision test. My eyes are bad. Cataracts. Need surgery, but it's expensive. Medicare doesn't cover all of it, and we're retired. Get Social Security. $1,200 a month, both of us. Rent, medications, food, nothing's left. How much is the surgery? $3,500. Each eye, total $7,000. Frank took a deep breath. Rose, you drove without a license. This is very dangerous. You could have hurt yourself, hurt Henry, hurt someone else. I know, Rose whispered. But what could I do? Henry goes to dialysis twice a week. Hospital is 12 miles away. Ambulance is $500 each time. We can't afford it. Our children aren't in Rhode Island. Our son's in California. Our daughter's in Florida. They have their own lives. We don't want to be a burden. Friends? Neighbors? All elderly, or working, or don't care. Henry finally spoke. His voice trembled, weak. Your Honor, I can't live without Rose. 60 years. We've been married 60 years, every day, every night, never apart. And now I'm sick. And she takes care of me, because she loves me. And I'm making her break the law, Henry cried, quietly. And Rose held his hand, tightly. But you haven't heard the most devastating part yet. Frank broke the silence. Henry, Rose, tell me about your 60 years. How did you meet? Rose smiled. For the first time. Small, nostalgic smile. 1965, Rose said. I was 22. Henry was 25. Met at a dance in Providence. He just returned from service. Vietnam, I was a nursing student. He asked me to dance. I said yes. And we saw each other every day. 6 months later, we married. Quick, Frank smiled. Yes, but we knew. Both of us knew. This was the right person. And 60 years later, we still know. Do you have children? 3 children, Michael, Sarah, and David. All grown, moved away. They have their own families. We have grandchildren, 8. But they're all far. We see them once a year. Christmas. Do they know your situation? Rose lowered her head. No, we didn't tell them, because we don't want them to worry. Michael's in California, has a good job. Sarah's in Florida, her husband's sick. David's in Texas, has young children. Their lives are hard. We don't want to be more burden. Frank's voice softened. Rose, you're not a burden. Your parents, they should be there for you. But they're far, and we need help every day. Taking Henry to dialysis, going to pharmacy, grocery shopping, doctor appointments, too much. And I do it, because he's my husband. But now I'm also aging, my eyes are bad, my knees hurt, and sometimes I'm so tired. Rose's eyes filled. But what can I do? I can't put him in a nursing home, because there he'll die, alone, without me. And I can't live without him. Henry kissed Rose's hand. And I can't live without you. At that moment, the courtroom cried, because this was real love, 60 years of love, but also the pain of aging. Frank stood up and made a decision. But this time, the decision would be different. Wait, because now reality is coming. Frank turned to the court clerk. Linda, please call Elder Services and DMV and Rhode Island Hospital Eye Clinic. Linda picked up the phone. Frank turned to Henry and Rose. Here's my decision, Frank said. Rose, you drove without a license. This is a crime. But I understand your situation. You're in a desperate situation, and desperate situations require desperate measures. Whether I'll give punishment, I'll say in a minute. But first, we need to fix some things. First, Rose, your cataract surgery. I'll mediate with Rhode Island Hospital. There are Medicare and assistance programs. We can cover the surgery. Maybe completely free, maybe low cost. But you will have surgery. Rose's mouth opened. Really? Yes, because you need to see. Second, Henry, your dialysis. I'll talk to Elder Services. There are free transportation programs, medical volunteers. They can take you to dialysis every week, free. Henry cried. Thank you. Third, your children. I'll call them. Michael, Sarah, David. They need to know your situation. Because you shouldn't struggle alone. Family should support each other, even from far away. Rose trembled. But they're busy. And you're their mother and father. They should make time for you. Frank picked up the phone. Speaker mode. Court listened. This is Judge Frank Caprio, calling Michael Thompson. Few seconds later, a man's voice. Hello? This is Michael. Michael, I'm Judge Caprio, Rhode Island Superior Court. Your parents are here, in court. What? Michael panicked. What happened? Are they okay? Physically okay. But Michael, they need help. Your mother drove without a license because your father's sick, Parkinson's and dialysis, and they can't cope alone. I didn't know. They didn't say anything. Because they don't want to burden you. But Michael, they're 82 and 85. They're not a burden. They're your parents, and they need you. Michael was silent, then started crying. I'm so far, in California, but I'll come, this weekend, and I'll find a solution, I promise. Thank you, Michael. Your parents love you, and you need to show them that love. Frank hung up. Rose and Henry were crying, but this time, tears of relief. But Frank wasn't finished yet, because reality was more complex. Frank sat in his chair and began to speak, but this time his tone was different, more realistic, more sad. Henry, Rose, Frank said, I'll do what I can for you. Surgery, transportation, family support. I'll arrange all of this, but I need to be honest. This won't be perfect. Rose looked up. What do you mean? Surgery will fix your eyes, but you're still 82. To get your license back, you need to pass tests again. Vision test, driving test, and you might not pass. Because aging isn't just eyes. Reflexes slow down too. Decision-making gets harder. DMV is strict for safety. Volunteer transportation will help with dialysis, but it's not always reliable. Sometimes volunteers get sick. Sometimes weather's bad. Sometimes appointments don't match. You'll still sometimes wait. Sometimes worry. And your children, Michael will come this weekend, but then he'll return to California because he has a job there, family there. He can't come every week, maybe once a month, maybe less, and you'll still be alone most days." Henry nodded. "We understand. But at least now there's some help. Before, there was none." "Yes," Frank said, "and that's good. But I want to be honest with you. Aging isn't easy. The system isn't perfect. We're doing our best. But we can't fix everything," Rose quietly asked. "So what's my punishment? I still drove without a license." Frank stopped. Thought for a long time. "Rose," he said slowly, "I understand you. You're in a desperate situation. You're trying to protect the person you love. This is noble, but at the same time, dangerous. If you'd had an accident, you could have hurt yourself, hurt Henry, hurt someone else. So my sentence is this: you will not drive without a license again. If you do, there's jail time, 30 days. And I'm not joking. But at the same time, I understand your situation, so no fine, because you have no money, and no community service, because you have no health. Instead, you'll promise me. Promise you'll ask for help. Use volunteer transportation, talk to your children, connect with neighbors, because you shouldn't struggle alone." Rose cried. "I promise." "And Henry, you promise too. You won't pressure Rose. If transportation doesn't come, you'll wait, or reschedule, but you won't force Rose to do illegal things again." Henry nodded. "I promise." Frank stood up. "Case closed. Rose, free. But remember, this is last chance. If it happens again, punishment is serious." Rose and Henry stood up, slowly, hand in hand, and left the court. But the story doesn't end here, because real life is complex. 2 weeks later, Rose had surgery. Right eye, with Medicare and charity help, for $500. Rose could pay, barely. Surgery was successful. Rose started seeing. Clearer. Better. But the doctor gave bad news. "Rose, left eye also needs surgery, but not now. Must wait 6 months. Right eye must heal first." 6 months? Rose worried. "But then I still can't see clearly. Can't get license back." "Unfortunately. But after 6 months, second surgery. Then maybe you can get license back." Rose was sad, because 6 months is a long time, and Henry needed help now. Volunteer transportation started. First week went well. Volunteer took Henry to dialysis. Brought him back, no problem. Second week, volunteer got sick. Cancelled. Rose panicked and called hospital. "Can you send ambulance?" "Yes, but $500. Rose's heart broke. No $500. Neighbor Mrs. Garcia heard. "I can take him," she said. "I'm off work today." Mrs. Garcia took Henry. Rose was very grateful, but third week Mrs. Garcia was also busy. Grandchild was sick, couldn't go. Rose called Michael. "Son, we need help." Michael came from California. Weekend. Took Henry to dialysis. Talked with Rose. "Mom, Dad, maybe you should move to California, to me. I can take care." Rose shook her head. "No. Providence is our home. We've lived here 60 years. Our friends are here. Our memories are here. We can't leave." "But Mom, you need help. Every day." "I know, but we'll stay here. Somehow." Michael returned Sunday. To California, to work, to family, and Rose and Henry were alone again. Fourth week, volunteer returned. But different volunteer. Young, but in a hurry, dropped Henry at dialysis. "I'll return in 3 hours." But came after 4 hours. Henry waited at hospital. Tired, anxious. Fifth week, Rose fell. At home, on stairs. Twisted knee. Went to hospital. X-ray. Good news, no break. Bad news, 2 weeks rest. Can't walk. And Henry was alone. For 2 weeks. Neighbors helped. Brought food. Michael came again. Stayed 3 days. But then returned again. Rose recovered. But now more scared. "If I fall, what will Henry do? He can't live without me." 2 months later, Frank called Henry and Rose from court. "How are you?" Rose answered honestly. "Your Honor, we're struggling. Volunteer transportation helps, but it's not always reliable. Sometimes they're late. Sometimes they cancel. And I worry every day." "Surgery?" "Right eye good. Left eye in 4 months. But until then, I still can't see clearly and can't drive." "Your children?" "Michael came. Twice. But he's far. Can't come every week. Sarah called from Florida, offered help. But she's far too. David sent a letter from Texas. Sent money, $200, helped a lot. But they can't be here physically." Frank was sad, because this was reality. Children far away, volunteers unreliable, system incomplete, and elderly couples still struggling. "Rose, Henry, I'm sorry. I wish I could help more, but the system is limited." "We know," Rose said. "But Your Honor, you did help. You arranged surgery, found volunteer transportation, talked to our children. This is better than doing nothing, and we're grateful. But it's not enough." "No. But life is never perfect, especially when you're old. We're learning, we're adapting, and we're holding on to each other." Henry came to the phone. "Your Honor, I'm 85. Rose is 82. We won't live long. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10, maybe less. But however long we live, we'll be together. Because that's the 60-year promise." Frank's eyes filled. "Henry, Rose, you're an example of true love." "No," Rose said gently. "We're just two old people who love each other and trying to survive. Not perfect, but real." When Frank hung up, he thought for a long time, because this story was different from the others. No happy ending, no perfect solution, just continuing. 2,100 words, rehook number 7. 6 months later, Rose had second surgery. Left eye, again successful. And this time, Rose started seeing. Both eyes, clear, sharp. Went to DMV, took vision test, passed. First step complete, then driving test. Rose was nervous, drove 60 years, but took 2-year break, and now 83 years old. In driving test, Rose was slow. Very slow. Inspector noted, overly cautious, reflexes slow, difficulty parking. Rose passed test, but conditional license. Daylight only, familiar roads only, no highway, no night driving. When Rose got license, she cried, "Now I can take Henry, legally." But in reality, Rose was scared, because now roads were faster, cars were bigger, and Rose was slower. First day took Henry to dialysis, 12 miles, familiar road. But still, scared, held steering wheel tight, drove slow, other cars honked. "Speed up," they yelled. But Rose couldn't speed up, because she was scared. Henry rode in car. "Rose, you're doing fine. Relax." But Rose wasn't relaxed. Every intersection, every turn, she was scared. What if I crash? What if I hurt Henry? 2 weeks later, Rose made a decision. "Henry, I don't want to drive anymore." "Why? You have license, legal." "But not safe. I'm slow. I get distracted, and I don't want to risk you." Henry was sad, but understood. "So what will we do?" "Volunteer transportation, neighbors. Michael comes once a month. We'll manage." And they managed. But it wasn't easy. Some days, volunteer came. Some days, didn't. Some days, neighbor helped. Some days, no one. Some days, Henry couldn't go to dialysis, because no transportation. Those days, stayed home. Got weaker. Got tired. Rose felt helpless. "I can't help you. I have license, but I'm scared to use it." Henry held Rose's hand. "Your fear is normal. You're 83, and I can't ask more from you. You already do too much." A year later, Frank called them again. "How are you?" Rose answered in tired voice. "Your Honor, we're still here, still struggling." "Your license?" "I have it, but don't use it. I'm scared. I'm old. I'm slow. Don't feel safe. So how do you take Henry? Volunteers, neighbors. Michael comes once a month. Sometimes we use taxi. Expensive, but no other choice. And your health? Henry, same. Parkinson's progressing. Dialysis continues. Me, my knees are bad. Back hurts. But we continue. Frank quietly asked. Did you ever think about nursing home? Long silence. Then Rose answered. Yes. We thought. But nursing homes are expensive. Medicare doesn't cover all. And we don't want to separate. Most nursing homes don't have room for couples. Henry goes one place, I go another. And we haven't separated in 60 years. Don't want to separate now. So what will you do? Don't know, Rose said honestly. We live day by day. Some days good, some days hard, but together. Always together. Henry added to phone. Your Honor, we're not perfect. Our life isn't perfect, but we have each other, and that's enough. 60 years ago I told Rose till death, and I'm keeping that promise every day, no matter how hard. Frank's voice trembled. Henry, Rose, you inspire. No, Rose said. We're just old, struggling. System isn't perfect. We're not perfect, but we continue. Because this is life, and life is sometimes just about surviving. When Frank hung up, he cried. Because this story didn't end happily. No solution, just continuing. Today, 2 years later, Henry is 87. Rose is 84, still living in small house in Providence, hand in hand. Together, Rose has license, but doesn't use it. Still scared. Sometimes uses it for grocery store. Close, slow, but not for dialysis. Too far, too stressful. Henry's Parkinson's progressing. Now has great difficulty walking. Uses wheelchair sometimes. Speech slow, but mind still sharp. Volunteer transportation continues, but still unreliable. Some weeks comes 3 times, some weeks once. Rose worries every week. Michael comes every 3 months, from California, stays 3 days, helps, but then returns. Because he has own life. Sarah and David talk on phone, send money sometimes, but can't come physically, because they're also far, busy. Rose and Henry's social life has narrowed. Most friends died, or moved to nursing homes, now very alone. Some days, Rose cries, I'm tired, every day same struggle, every day worry, when will it end? Henry comforts Rose. It ends when it ends, but until then, we're together. And they're together, every day, hand in hand. Journey that started 60 years ago still continues, but now slower, more tiring, harder. Frank calls occasionally, checks in. Do you need help? Rose always gives same answer. We always need help, but we're managing, somehow. Frank helps them, as much as he can. Sometimes directs to charities, sometimes finds volunteers, but he knows it's not enough. System is incomplete, and elderly always struggle. One day, Rose told Frank something. Your Honor, 2 years ago you asked me, how did you meet? I told you about the 1965 dance, but I didn't tell you the ending. What ending? That night, after dance ended, Henry told me, Rose, I love you, and I want to grow old with you. And I said, Henry, growing old isn't easy. We'll get sick, we'll get weak, we'll be burdens to each other. And he said, Rose, not burden. Love, and I'll be honored to grow old with you. Rose cried, and now we're old. And he was right, not burden. Love, hard, painful, exhausting, but love. Frank cried too. Rose, you taught me what aging means, what love means, and what struggling means. And the system? Frank answered honestly. System isn't enough. We're failing the elderly. Elder care is expensive and inadequate. Volunteers are well-meaning but unreliable. Families are far and busy. And elderly couples like you struggle every day. But you helped. A little, but not enough. And I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Rose said. You did what you could. And we're grateful. Because no one's perfect. System's not perfect. Life's not perfect. But some people care. And you're someone who cares. And that matters. Henry and Rose's story doesn't end happily. No solution. No perfect system. Just continuing. They still live in small house. Still struggle. Still hand in hand. Some days good, some days bad. But every day, together. Rose doesn't drive with license anymore. Because doesn't feel safe. And that's right decision. Because safety more important than independence. Henry now in wheelchair. But still beside Rose. Every day, every night. Children come occasionally. But they have own lives. And that's normal. Because life continues. Volunteers help occasionally. But not always. And that's reality. Because system's not perfect. Frank doesn't forget them. Calls occasionally. Sometimes visits and reminds them, you're not alone, someone cares. And that matters. Even without perfect solution, having someone care matters. Rose once said, people expect happy endings, but aging isn't happy ending. Aging is just ending, and we're preparing for that end. Together. Henry added, 60 years ago, I promised Rose, till death, and I'll keep that promise, till my last breath, because this is love. Real love, not perfect, but real. Frank's message is simple. System isn't enough. Elder care is in crisis. Volunteer transportation unreliable. Families far away. And elderly couples struggle. But we can change. More funding, more volunteers, more support, and most importantly, more empathy. Because one day we'll all age, and that day will be Henry and Rose, struggling, needing help, but loved. Now it's your turn. You see an elderly couple, slow, tired, but hand in hand. What do? Offer help? Or pass by? Because every day there's a Henry and Rose, 60 years of love. But every day, struggle. Frank helped. But it wasn't enough. Rose got license, but couldn't use it. Henry survived. But no happy ending, just continuing. And sometimes, continuing is enough. Not perfect, but real. And real love doesn't wait for perfect endings. Real love just continues. Hand in hand. 60 years. And counting.